My name is Lucas Warren, and I should have been looking forward to Sunday's family get-together, the one I had always enjoyed, filled with laughter, stories, and the kind of casual chaos that only family can provide, but instead, I stared at my phone in disbelief when a message popped up in our group chat from my younger brother, Brandon. "Don't come to the Sunday get-together. My new wife says." The words hit like a cold splash of water, leaving me stunned, heart racing, and mind scrambling to understand what had prompted such a public declaration. The group chat, usually a place for teasing and planning, had turned into a stage for exclusion, and the thought that my own brother was aligning with his wife against me cut sharper than I expected. I reread the message multiple times, hoping I had misunderstood, hoping perhaps it was a joke, but the lack of emojis, the blunt tone, and the context of past tensions told me immediately that this was serious, intentional, and deeply personal, and for the first time in weeks, I felt the familiar churn of anger and hurt that accompanies betrayal from someone you trust. 4 hours, I debated whether to respond immediately, to call Brandon directly, or to wait until Sunday to confront the situation in person. Each option carried risks, because reacting impulsively could escalate tensions, but doing nothing could make me look weak, like someone easily pushed aside by the whims of his younger sibling and the influence of a new family member. By Saturday night, I decided on a measured approach. I drafted a message that was calm, polite, but firm, asking Brandon to clarify exactly what his wife had said, and reminding him that family gatherings weren't decisions to be made unilaterally, especially when they affected relationships built over decades, not months. The reply came the next morning, hesitant, almost sheepish, with Brandon trying to soften the blow, explaining that his wife felt uncomfortable with certain conversations and dynamics, that she wanted to establish boundaries early, and that he didn't mean to hurt me personally, though the words did little to ease the sting of exclusion. I spent the rest of the morning preparing myself, reminding myself that family politics often involve delicate negotiations, compromise, and patience, and that walking into the gathering with calm confidence rather than resentment was the most strategic way to handle the situation. When I arrived at the house, I was greeted with the usual smells of home-cooked food, but the energy was subtly altered. Brandon and his wife exchanged glances that were far from innocent, and I could sense that the tension from the chat had carried into the room, making every smile a little forced, every greeting a little measured. I didn't confront immediately. Instead, I joined the conversation, laughing at stories, sharing memories, and quietly demonstrating that my presence was not only welcome but unshakable, and that no text message, no influence, and no attempt at exclusion could diminish my place in this family. By the end of the afternoon, the energy shifted. Brandon's wife began to relax, realizing that her attempt to control the situation had limited effect, and Brandon himself seemed to acknowledge, silently, that family dynamics couldn't be dictated by one new member alone. I even found moments to speak privately with Brandon, calmly expressing how exclusion felt, setting expectations for future gatherings, and reinforcing that mutual respect, honesty, and communication were non-negotiable, regardless of new alliances. By the time I left that Sunday, I felt a quiet triumph, not loud or boastful, but steady and resolute. I had attended, maintained my dignity, and subtly reminded everyone present that I wasn't someone to be pushed aside by text messages or marital influence, and that family ties, though sometimes strained, remain strongest when approached with patience, composure, and unwavering self-respect. That evening, reflecting on the day, I realized that conflict often reveals character, that strategic calm can achieve more than confrontation alone, and that sometimes, showing up when others hope you'll stay away is the most powerful message you can send about your place in the family and the respect you demand.